Naples, located in the southern part of Italy in the region of Campania, is the third most populated city in Italy, with over 1 million inhabitants. Naples sits on the northern edge of one of the most beautiful bays in Italy, the Bay of Naples. The famous Mount Vesuvius and the romantic island of Capri lie in close proximity to the city. This charm can be found throughout Italy, but Naples has special significance for many Italian Americans. For this was the port of call between 1880 and 1920, when nearly 3 million Italians endured overcrowded ships for their chance to come to America.
Immigration from Italy to this part of the country and another part of the world is not active, present as it used to be, which is a good news in one sense, because that indicates that the European community, in this particular case Italy, they're doing economically well, jobs are there, opportunities are there, therefore they don't have to struggle like our forefathers did in the past for a better future and living their homeland. So we are pleased to see that.
Right next to the port of Naples, you will find the very old coastal village of Santa Lucia. This seaside location was the last site of the homeland for Italians on their way to America. You can't visit Naples without taking a stroll through this old fishing quarter of Santa Lucia, a rocky island which is connected to the mainland by a bridge. You can take a walk up to Castel dell'Ovo, one of Naples' key fortresses in times gone by. Once arriving at Ellis Island, many of the Italian emigrants were on a train to Springfield. Not only was there the promise of jobs here in Springfield, but there were a number of Italians here, with many relatives joining their families.
Actually, my mother was here first. My father came after the war, and he immigrated to Chicago, basically, and a year later came to Springfield, where my mother's relatives were, and a lot of his friends. And they settled here 58 years ago, basically. And they've been here ever since.
Not far from Naples is a town in the center of the province of Salerno. This place is the fatherland of many Italian-American families now living in western Massachusetts. We made the connection to Springfield with this town somewhat by accident when we met Andrea Ruggiero, who works in Pompeii at the Ristorante Z Caterina. After enjoying some of the traditional margherita pizza, specialty of the Campania region, he told us of the history of family immigration from the area to Springfield. The next day, he brought us to his hometown of Bracigliano. It only took a few minutes of video recording near the center of town when the Springfield connection began unfolding.
My father and my mother, back in 1969, they went to the States, bringing the whole family with them, and give me a chance to go to school there, to learn many things about the history of America, and thank God that he gave me the opportunity to see my relatives. They live there. My father went for working there, to bring my family to work. Back 1978, due to my father got sick and he had to come back in Italy due to the weather. He was had problem of circulation. So it was kind of hard for me to come back once I had American culture inside me. But I live a wonderful life here. I want to thank you all for spending this day with me, and it's been a pleasure really to stay with you. I say hello to all my Americans, you know me, my relatives, and I want to say to all, God bless America.
Like Andrea, there are many similar stories of emigration to our area by so many Italians from years ago. We stopped by the local bocce club and found a brother of the Montefusco family of Chicopee.
I got a lot of friends over there. I've been in the United States 4 years ago, and I went to my brother for vacation, me and my family, for the Warning. You know Warning? Yeah. And we went to eat to my casa. He's got a restaurant, Chicopee Falls, 422 Front Street. I remember the address. Yeah. And we eat so good. And maybe next year I'm going to come back in America to my brother, me and my family.
Bocce is a well-liked pastime of any Italian family, and it is a very popular sport in this area of the country. Most say the immigration of Italians from Italy to America occurred because the more industrialized north of Italy eventually dominated the nation, causing hard times for those here in the south. Many Italians from this village of Bracigliano in the Campania region went to America, specifically to Springfield, because in the early 1900s the South End was booming with industry. This meant jobs and a better life. By 1930, over 16,000 Springfield residents were of Italian descent.
The reality of the immigration was a tough thing to do, but they did it for a better future, and they settled where they knew someone, where there was somebody there that can help, can find a room and board in those days. So therefore, Bracigliano gets settled here, and the majority of Italo-Americans are from there because a group leading the way for a better future land here and offer opportunity. And that's what Italian people are all about. I mean, offering opportunity. Again, they show how to get here, and they offer their home, their support to others to make.
Bracigliano is at the bottom of a green valley surrounded by a cluster of mountains. The intensive cultivation of the land by its people still show that agriculture is very much the mainstay. Cherry trees are in abundance and provides a major contribution to the local economy. Every year, many tons of cherries are produced and exported. Like most of Europe, their churches form the base of the local history. Here in Bracigliano, the original church of St. Giovanni Battista was built at the beginning of the 14th century. The present parish church was built on the ruins of the first one around the middle of the 17th century. It was an era in which Baroque art affirmed itself all over Italy. The imposing structure of the convent of St. Francis of Assisi dominates the valley on all sides. The church and convent, founded in 1618, was the center of life which influenced much of the history of this town. The convent is used today for spiritual retreats and owns 22 frescoes in the Baroque style, reproducing moments of the Franciscan life. The mayor of Bracigliano says those returning for a visit will notice a change and extends an invitation to those with ties to this southern Italian homeland.
Quindi concludo dicendo venite a Bracigliano, venite a vedere il paese dei vostri genitori, dei vostri nonni, perché rimarrete contenti, perché troverete un Bracigliano nuovo, un Bracigliano che vi aspetta a braccia aperte.
We would like to invite once again all the young people who don't know the town of their forefathers to return, to get to know better the town of their forefathers and to know more about the culture of not only their own town but of the area here in Campania.
It is of great importance to all those who we met along the way that second and third generation Italian Americans research their roots and visit their country of origin. All those in Bracigliano were especially welcoming to us and wanted to be sure we said hello to their families.
Because we were talking about family, so you understand how deep was this love with the roots, like we were telling before, where they burn. You see this day place so nice and so magnificent. So imagine these people that burn this place, how they feel when they have to move from this place, and especially because they were very attached to the family.
And most of the people here have a strong relation and deep feeling for their hometown, like anybody else that comes from another country or even from another state. And we feel that same way. I feel it when I hear my father talk about it. My kids understand it when they hear other people talk about it because they've been there. So there's a deep bond here in Springfield for Bracigliano. And all the surrounding towns around there. There's many people from that entire area here in Springfield.
It is clear that those who hail from this village and those now living in the States wish that Bracigliano can continue to live its history in harmony to the many family names originating from here and keep close its values of tradition. About 1 hour south of Rome is the city of Cassino. On the mountain overlooking the city stands the Abbey of Monte Cassino, which symbolizes the endurance and resilience of the Christian faith. Moving inland, a winding 3-mile mountain road led us to the Monte Cassino Benedictine Monastery, founded in 529 by Saint Benedict. The abbey sits on a high hill that dominates the area. In this abbey, Benedict lived all his life with his twin sister Scholastica, devoting himself to founding a new order of monks, the Benedictines. At the center of the entrance cloister stands this bronze statue by the sculptor Selva. In it, St. Benedict is standing, supported by monks. The Abbey of Monte Cassino became one of the most important religious and cultural institutions of the Middle Ages and was famous for its rich collections of illuminated manuscripts, frescoes, and mosaics. Throughout the Middle Ages, Benedictine monks were a political force as well as an educational and humanizing influence. The Abbey of Monte Cassino had periods of great prestige and trauma during the past centuries and was destroyed and rebuilt 4 times. Most recently, in February of 1944, it was destroyed completely when it was on the line of fire between the German and Allied armies during the Second World War. Kazimierz Barut from Chicopee was part of the Polish army fighting in Monte Cassino.
I was there with the artillery, a couple miles away, and there was about, on the day of battle, there was 1,000 guns shelling on that thing, and a Polish unit, Polish Second Corps, which was part of 8th British Army, next to the 5th American Army, had assignment on that thing, and of course, in a very harsh, difficult condition, climbing that mountain, they eventually achieved the victory, and I knew a Polish fellow in Florida who put a Polish flag on the ruin.
During World War II, after the American forces entered Naples, Nazi Germany decided to use Monte Cassino as a defense fortress in order to stop the Allied advance towards Rome. After many attempts at taking out the German forces without harming the monastery failed, the decision was made to bomb. The Germans were obliterated, but so was the abbey. Fortunately, the monks were evacuated before the destruction, along with the manuscripts and other treasures. The abbey was rebuilt after the war using the original plans, stones, and construction material. Today, the Abbey of Monte Cassino looks beautiful, and it is hard to believe that such a calm and serene place was the scene of mayhem and